So a lot of people have the question, is it better to own Bitcoin digital asset treasury companies or DATs, like MicroStrategy or Strive, ASST, or is it better just to own the Bitcoin ETF? And of course, this is a different conversation. I own the underlying asset, more so just Bitcoin itself, the underlying asset, way more than these other strategies. But a lot of other people are looking to maybe get more exposure in different ways. And this is a video for you. And I thought this was a very interesting take recently on CoinDesk. Personally, I do not own any IBIT, and I own digital asset treasury companies on top of owning the underlying asset Bitcoin. And I'll tell you guys why, but this video does too. And then we'll take another listen to a quick video about Strive, ASST. I'll show you guys kind of what I'm doing, how I'm planning ahead for what I think is the next big crypto bull run. Bitcoin bull run, of course, is part of that. So take a listen to this first, and then we'll respond and react to it.
The way I like to think about it is this. If you own one Bitcoin today and you hold it for 20 years, obviously in 20 years you got one Bitcoin, right? And that's okay. If you own one Bitcoin through an ETF, 20 years from now, what do you got? Well, you've got, depending on fees, you've got at most 0.95 Bitcoins, right? You've got something less than one because of the fees that accumulate, right? If you own a well-run Bitcoin, if you own a Bitcoin through a well-run Bitcoin treasury company, in 20 years time, you could have 3, 4, maybe even 5 Bitcoins. So clearly it's about which of the companies can get the marketplace comfortable that they will be able to make it through the bad times. And I would argue that it's really more about execution than it is about the pure numbers in terms of how much the market can support.
And clearly the company that has shown, an ability to sustain itself in terms of the digital asset treasury companies, the top one is MSTR. I own MSTR. I own it on spot. I don't really do anything with options calls on MicroStrategy, although I don't think it's a terrible idea if they're long call options. I think the longest you can go out right now is like January 21st, 2028. I'm recording this video currently August 2026. So I think that's an interesting play. Now, another one that I really like that I also own outside of MSTR is Strive, ASST, and they have no debt. And I think this is a really interesting kind of surge that they recently had when Bitcoin moved up here from 57,000 all the way up to 81,000. This is their chief risk officer. Take a listen to this.
And just for perspective, over the last 6 trading days, ASST, or the common stock, has jumped 230 companies in the um, market cap weighting rankings for U.S. publicly traded securities, and we've been hitting a market cap all-time high every time we issue additional common stock, and that increases the market cap. That also increases the potential weighting in market cap weighted index funds. And the weighting in market cap weighted index funds is not linear, it's exponential. So as you're growing in a market cap weighted index ETF, that incremental amount of dollar flows that comes to you with a larger market cap goes exponential, not linear.
So again, Punter Jeff, this is their chief risk officer at Strive, says the market cap is at an all-time high for the company. Every share issued lifts the market cap, and the market cap sets the weight in index funds. That weighting doesn't move in a straight line. It's exponential. The bigger the market cap, the harder the incremental fund dollars chase you. Climbing the ranks is the slow part. The flows aren't. The Hurdle Rate podcast put this out there. Thought it was interesting. And I do have some interesting positions on Strive, ASST. I own the stock on spot on ASST, but I've also opened up some call positions as well on Strive. And you could see here the bump that it's had, just recently on the weekly here. You could see this move up right here. Just this little move from $12 up to 22, which is almost a double up, by the way. But that move right there, just that alone, Bitcoin's bump has significantly helped out a lot of people owning this stock. And if we get back into a full-fledged bull cycle, you know, I think ASST could easily get to $100 a share. In fact, I mean, it was already there. It was trading at 260, you know, way up here during the heat of the bull run. You know, when Bitcoin was setting highs at 126,000, they don't have any debt. I'm making some big plays. So, you know, I've got, you know, calls out on ASST, long-term calls, January 2028, because I believe Bitcoin in 2027 is going to make some really nice headway. And I've got some calls, $25 calls, I've got some $30 calls, and I've got some $35 calls on ASST. Long-term, built out. And again, I own way more of the underlying asset Bitcoin than I do, but this is a way to get some levered exposure, I think, in an interesting way, also in MSTR. So I think digital asset treasury companies are, you know, better options than IBIT. Now, I know some people take option calls on IBIT too. Totally get it. I'd rather, you know, if I'm going to take an options call, though, I'd rather take it on the digital asset treasury company than IBIT. And so that was kind of the whole crux of this video. So hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you got some value here. As always, not financial advice. We're just putting you guys out there on things that we see. Strive also is buying more Bitcoin very actively right now. So we'll be keeping tabs on all of this. I appreciate you all for watching the video. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll see you guys in the next one.